Tucker Carlson, a self-proclaimed atheist, has had a profound awakening to the power of Christianity and the Bible. He warns of an impending global shift, driven by a demonic spiritual force with the potential to wreak havoc on the world. He hints at major changes on the horizon, encouraging viewers to stay tuned until the end to learn more. Before diving in, he invites everyone to subscribe to help spread the message. Carlson now praises the wisdom and virtues of Christians, whom he once dismissed. He believes the real battle isn't fought through warfare, but in the spiritual realm. He emphasizes the importance of being born again, following the Ten Commandments, and putting faith in Jesus for salvation. He also recommends watching the viral film Atheist Tries to Stop the Gospel, which has garnered over 1 million views. Carlson now believes that Christians, who he sees as the only ones who truly understand what's happening in the world, are the smartest people. He expresses surprise at how much more insightful they are, especially as global events intensify. According to Carlson, those who genuinely believe in the Bible have the unique ability to comprehend the current situation, and they're not surprised by the state of the world. Despite identifying as a Christian, he continues to grapple with the truth. His take on things is important because it offers a fresh, unbiased perspective. Tucker reflected on how, after more than 30 years working in the media, he's only recently started seeing the world differently. He realized that many things people take for granted still surprise him. He compared himself to a soldier who's been fighting on the front lines for years, only to realize that the war has been happening for decades without him fully understanding it. However, things take a surprising turn when discussing self-destruction. Whether slowly or suddenly, Tucker believes people are influenced by external forces, spiritual forces. He claims that those with a destructive instinct, what he calls a spiritual force, have taken control of major social power structures. While he admits he can't provide concrete evidence for this theory, he strongly believes it's the main cause of the world's current state. Tucker also hinted at a darker conclusion, suggesting that everything we believe to be true might turn out to be a lie after we die, revealing a more sinister reality only understood in death. Tucker hinted at a darker realization, suggesting that after we die, we may realize that everything we thought we knew was actually wrong. If this points to a deep and unsettling truth, he claims that only in the afterlife will this reality become clear. Tucker said he agreed with the Bible's teachings that the devil deceives the world, adding that the world is tricked because it willingly submits to evil. He referenced Jesus, who criticized religious authorities, saying they were doing the devil's work. Tucker also recounted a conversation with someone who wanted to know the secret of life but wasn't ready to die. He admitted that he felt similarly, explaining that while he's not eager to die, he's not afraid of it either. But then came a shocking question: do you think we're headed into World War III? Tucker replied that we are very close, as many people can see. He argued that people engage in self-destructive behavior, unlike animals that act according to their natural instincts. He believes this is due to the influence of spiritual forces, which come from outside the natural world. Tucker claims these forces push people to act against their basic nature, leading to self-destruction. He added that many world religions share the belief that supernatural beings can physically manifest. Other creation stories, like Greek mythology, also reference this idea. It's not exclusive to Christianity. According to Tucker, these entities are believed to take on a physical form in addition to their ethereal or shadowy appearances. He admitted that he hadn't fully understood this part of Christian theology before, but now sees it as a core principle not just of Christianity, but of all religions. Tucker claims that historically, people have always believed that the real battles occur in the spiritual realm, except in the West after 1945. He emphasized that, despite differing views on the nature of reality, most would agree there is much more happening in the universe than what meets the eye. Tucker believes that people will eventually realize this, even if it seems far-fetched to those focused solely on material goals. He thinks gaining this perspective is essential for deeper understanding. Tucker went on to say that he now believes the only people truly prepared to understand the world are those who read the Bible. He recalled growing up being taught that Bible readers were superstitious, rigid, and lacking intelligence or common sense. However, he now believes the opposite is true. He acknowledged that despite occasional church attendance, his family viewed religious people as awkward, superstitious, and often from lower socioeconomic backgrounds. Tucker expressed guilt over this attitude, but admitted he had never thought much about it until recently. Now he thinks that religious people, especially Christians, are the smartest and most admirable. They are the ones who truly understand what's going on and serve others selflessly, even praying for their enemies without expecting anything in return. Tucker believes that Christians are the only ones who truly understand what's going on. He spoke about the Bible, calling it both the most loved and hated book in the world. While it's a bestseller, Tucker explained that part of its appeal comes from the fact that in the Old Testament, God promised to end death. The New Testament shows how Jesus fulfilled that promise. However, since the Bible upholds morality and teaches that humans are made in the image of God, not just as primates or descendants of other creatures, it's also deeply hated by some. One reason for this hostility is the Bible's claim that people have a conscience, know the difference between right and wrong, and are accountable to God, their Creator. Tucker emphasized how blasphemous it is to use God's name in vain, especially because God gave life. He referenced the Bible's verse, "The wages of sin is death," which shows how seriously God takes sin, considering it a crime punishable. Thanks to Jesus' death on the cross and his resurrection, God can now rightfully forgive sins. Tucker stressed the importance of turning away from sin and putting full faith in Jesus to avoid eternal punishment. He also pointed out the difference between Christians and Catholics, noting that Christians place their faith solely in Jesus, while Catholics trust in the Church, religion, confession, and the Eucharist. He likened this to relying on a parachute when jumping from a plane. Christians trust only in Jesus for salvation. Tucker concluded by encouraging everyone to put their trust in Jesus, believing he is the only one who can save them. Tucker explained that his message was simple enough for even a child to understand, focusing on God's grace in offering eternal life to everyone. Reflecting on his own experiences, he acknowledged the presence of evil in the world, even when people try to do good. He stressed that, in the end, everyone must choose which side they are on. Tucker agreed that human nature contains a significant amount of evil, quoting Einstein's famous remark that it's easier to deny the existence of plutonium than to deny the evil in human nature. Tucker shared that when someone is born again, their love for righteousness replaces their love for sin. This transformation, he said, gives life meaning and clarifies one's plans for the afterlife. He emphasized the importance of this principle by referencing Jesus, explaining the value of preserving one's soul over acquiring material wealth. His serious tone, he said, stemmed from a deep concern for everyone's eternal well-being, believing that heaven is far better than hell. Tucker also mentioned how, in recent years, he had noticed that Christians have a unique perspective on the state of the world. He shared a personal story of encountering something unusual and turning to a Christian colleague for help. His colleague responded calmly, as if such events were commonplace. Tucker pointed out that this showed how Christians who truly follow the Bible aren't surprised by the world's events, knowing that everything aligns with biblical prophecy. He emphasized that the Bible is a guiding light, shedding insight into both the early stages of human history and what is yet to come.